It's Preusse. Yes, it is, unfortunately. I wish it never happened, but yes, I was there. Okay, well, I had gone to the governor's office in hopes of trying to reach a peaceful resolution to everything, get communications, line of communication open between Amity and the governor and proper people. Yes.
Bye. Excuse me, YouTube listeners. I screwed up. I forgot to unmute the live stream mic. I got to do this again. Sorry, man. It's been a comedy errors and cat herding all day long. I've been telling everybody that. All right, we're
That's
on
my
air with
life, man.
Kevin.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, we're on air with Kevin Preusse, who was. We're going to give another angle to the whole situation. Which angle it's going to be, I don't know. Some of this is going to be a surprise to all of us. Don't start calling in until I say you can call in, because I just won't answer. And Kevin was out in Burns, Oregon, and from what we understand is you were in the governor's office when all this went down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a full accounting of what happened when you were in the governor's office, and then we're going to go back to the day you arrived in Burns and just take it from there. So Kevin, just go ahead and tell us who you are, your affiliation, some of your history, so we know who you are a little bit. You're in a bad area and we can't get video, so we just got your picture of your hat, you and your hat and your sunglasses. So.
Yeah, that's I think by law I'm not allowed to show too much of my face, too ugly. But anyways, I do some contract work with the military, and I was trying to reach a peaceful solution here regarding the whole standoff issue. And I was in Governor Brown's office trying to reach some sort of compromise to get a line of communication started between her office and Ammon Bundy, and that message never went through. Unfortunately, I was there when the assault took place. I saw a bit of the dash cam footage, and I was whisked out of there fairly quickly by a state trooper. They had fears that there was going to be protests or even a little bit of violence around the Capitol building. So
Sorry, we just had some echo feedback as I got a couple other computers started. Go ahead, continue.
okay, so I was really just in disbelief of everything. I mean, I was sent there by a joint terrorism task force initially to Burns, and they wanted to see kind of get an idea of who was there, what was going on, and because what was told to me anyways was they had word that there were some individuals there that just wanted violence no matter what, and they wanted my opinion. I kind of thought that was odd. I had asked them repeatedly, "You've got to have somebody on the inside."
All right,
They
stand by. Let's step back for a second. Explain Joint Intelligence Task Force for everybody that has no clue.
Joint Terrorism Task Force is a combination of agencies, whether it's law enforcement, Oregon State Police, military, FBI. It could be any combination, really. Uh, Law enforcement get together and strictly deal with terrorism related issues.
Right, and so, um, I mean, I don't consider any of this terrorism. How would terrorism be? Had they already identified these or tried to identify these guys out there at the refuge as terrorists, and that's why they wanted to bring you in?
Yeah, they had a few of them. They weren't sure if they were there or not. Like I said, they wanted to know who was there, but apparently they do have some that were on a watch list, were labeled as domestic terrorists. They said there were a few people that, you know, they felt wanted to start a fight no matter what, and just wanted to know who was there. Like I said, I thought it was odd. Every time I'd ask about them having anybody there on the inside or anything, they would tell me, no, we have nobody. We're getting everything off YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, they, the interesting thing is they forgot. It seems like half the time they forgot there is an internet, and then the rest of the time they're using it to their advantage.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a
anyway,
double-edged sword, sure.
yeah. So anyway, you're in the governor's office, doing what when all this went down?
Well, I went there. I had caught wind roughly 48 hours before the assault took place. I was in contact with Congressman Schrader's office, who got me in touch with Governor Brown's office. They wanted me to go in and reach a line of communication. I was told I had 48 hours, so obviously I took that as, well, in 48 hours there's going to be a raid. And
Right.
on day two, I went to the governor's office to try to do something because Ammon Bundy wasn't getting my messages. Um, there was no, nobody denied anybody anything at that point from my involvement. It's just we weren't able to connect. So I went to the governor's office in hopes of, having a little bit of an extension here to try to make one more push to reach out to him. And my plan was actually just to drive there and show up. I was told, no, you don't want to do that. Too late. And then it happened.
Right. And so I have some understanding, and we've all done some very in depth analysis, and I now have some even better resolution footage that is in our. Folks that want to go download this and put it on the big screen and look, you go to freedomslips.com/drone footage. And you can go get much better resolution and put it on your big screen than you're ever going to see on YouTube, because I've tried to download the better or upload the better resolution stuff to YouTube, and they won't let me. They're automatically downgrading the video resolution to 360. So anyway, all this went down, and from what you were saying to me earlier, you were in the office when this went down, and you saw some. I don't know where you were seeing dash cam footage live or how. Tell me about that, please.
I don't believe it was live, but it was very quickly after it happened. That's for sure. I didn't get to see the full thing. Like I said, the state trooper wished me out of there real quick.
Right.
They were doing that with everybody that was remaining in the building. Weren't too many people, but there was a strong presence of both state troopers and FBI.
Right. And as we had analyzed that, it looked like maybe somebody had got hit in crossfire. And I seen these guys set themselves up in a bad spot anyway. You got guys at a elevated position and guys at a lower position, and they're like shooting at each other almost with the truck in between, which just kind of is 101 stupid.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. I was like, "Oh my God, these guys are just going to kill each other. They're going to shoot each other. Is this? What is this?"
Right.
And yeah, it was just unbelievable.
Right. And it makes me wonder if that was kind of the point, so they could maybe one of them would get hurt. And you've seen the one guy jump in front of the truck. That guy wasn't getting out of the way. He was jumping in front of the truck. We've already proved that, and put one or two in the windshield just to, gung ho it, and just I don't want to see anybody get killed, the boy or anybody else. And it's lucky as his steroided up ass didn't get himself killed jumping in front of a big truck like that.
Yeah, initially I thought he was hit, and I was shocked that he wasn't. I couldn't believe it. It was a very stupid thing to do.
Right. All right. So now that we've got to that point, let's go all the way back to the day you arrived in Burns. And I'm just going to shut up unless I hear something I need to stop and
Okay?
clarify. And I want you to tell your story from the very beginning, why you were there, what happened you were there, all the way to the time that you left Oregon. You're out of Oregon now or on your way out, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm on my way out.
All right, so let's just get the entire detailed now story from you, and then we'll take some calls.
Okay, well, like I had said, I was asked by a member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force out of Portland uh, to go out and just observe, see who was there, see if the rumors were true, if there was anybody that were looking to incite any type of violence, not keep things peaceful. When I arrived the day of the main protest for the Hammonds, which seemed to be a lost name in all this, a forgotten name, um, everything was going great. It was a nice, peaceful protest. And about a half hour before anything happened, I had gotten word that the small group was going to go off and do something. I didn't had no idea what. At that point, I did contact the guy over at Joint Terrorism Task Force via text message, and I said, "Hey, something's going to go down. I don't know what, but anybody you have on the ground here, you might want to alert them." And then when they were making their way to the refuge, fairly close to it, I let them know these guys are en route somewhere. Again, I had no idea where they were going. I heard nothing back. Several hours later, when they had already occupied the refuge, I contacted him yet again and said, "Have you seen the news? You know what's happening?" And he said, "Yes, I just saw it. I just found out." And I said, "Well, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you stop them?" I got no reply. Later on that evening, for a brief time, everybody had left for a real short period of time. I contacted him yet again and said, "Hey, if you want to stop this, just send some people over, lock the doors. Simple as that. Everyone's gone." And nothing. I heard nothing until the next morning, and it was just kind of chaotic then. It was the impression that I got no one knew what was going on. It was just a complete debacle. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch. It was very unorganized from my point. Uh, from the area that I was in, it was nobody was listening to anybody. Nobody was working together. Um, who knows? I mean, maybe they really didn't have anybody on the ground at that point, but obviously they did later on. That's for sure. So, and
So, what was the next step after that done? I mean, did you get commands or orders from anywhere else to do anything else? And you did say that there were some people on the terror watch list that they were talking about. I mean, can you tell us anybody? I mean, for operational security or your own safety, maybe you don't want to. So, but which is perfectly fine.
no, it's not really a safety issue. I'm not too worried about it. There was a couple people that were from the initial Bundy Ranch. Um, I don't remember the guy's name, but the sniper there, was on the cover of all the papers and everything. He was a person of interest, and basically, I was just sent a few photos, and do you see these guys?
Right. Okay.
Um, and the photos I got, none of those people looked familiar to me.
Right. Are you able to provide documentation in any of those photos, or are they property of the U.S.
Oh,
government? Or
no, I've got everything.
all right, if you could
I
email
could,
me those, that would be great. I could actually post some of that up in here.
okay, and even with the being at the governor's office and stuff, I had to sign a logbook and everything, so there's record of that.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, none of this is awesome, but at least we can document this because believe me, everybody listening is going to have their own opinion and accusations as well. You know that. So, all
Oh,
right.
absolutely, and everything should be questioned, in my opinion. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of surreal in a lot of ways.
Right. So okay.
It's
So next, let's just call this day two.
Well, day two, there was really nothing. There was nothing for quite a while, almost a week. Just everything was in limbo, and I don't even mean just with me and myself not knowing what to do. It seemed like nobody knew what to do, and it was a very boring week. Let's put it that way.
Right. And so
I was then
then,
asked.
right.
Oh,
And
go
then,
ahead.
so, okay. Well, then let's just climb up to where things actually started to happen then.
Roughly about a week later, I was asked. if I can get into the refuge, because I did know some of the occupiers, some on good terms, some not so good, but it didn't matter. I said, yeah, I can get in the refuge. It was actually the word they used was compensation. There would be decent compensation with this, uh, and I said sure. And my goal the whole time was just end things peacefully. Um, I from my point of view, there were some people there. Ammon, he had a message. Um, a lot of those guys, they had a very, very good message. They were dead on with their message. And there were others there that did appear to have an agenda, if you will. But
Right.
I was for Ammon's message. To me, it doesn't matter if you agree with the route they took, how they did things. The message was right, and that I think that division with the two separate issues kind of I think threw the FBI off. I don't think they knew what to think, what to make of it. And next thing we knew, um, one of the people that I had some problems with, uh, we had some words, and I started receiving some threats, and my family as well. And at that time, Joint Terrorism Task Force told me, "Well, you better off just go home."
Right.
Now, the whole thing to me didn't really make sense. I did ask him. I said, "Well, if I go in there," I said, God forbid something does happen. I said, am I going to get some sort of notice? A heads up. Hey, you got 2 hours to get out. They didn't give me that assurance. They didn't leave a very good taste in my mouth. That's for sure.
So the people that send you out there wasn't leaving a good taste in your mouth, not the people at the refuge.
Correct.
Right. I mean, we were out there for a week and then another, and then the second week we went was after all this happened. And, the first week we're out there, we got a lot of footage and it seemed, this just seemed like not to be flippant about it, but just a big chilled out barbecue,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, it
picnic
did at
camping
times.
thing. I mean, just everybody seemed to be, just chilling, trying to get something done.
Yes, exactly. And, the first time I heard somebody, I think I read it online, somebody said, oh, they made a Jade Helm reference. And I kind of laughed, and maybe the second day of hearing that, I said, holy cow, you know what? It actually kind of does seem that way. There's something weird here. And
Well, I
it
mean,
seemed that way from no matter who you talk to, everybody would agree. Yeah, it's just weird.
yeah, I mean, we watched James Hill go down. We saw all the equipment go in, and we had people. I've got contact after contact that was sending me stuff of it coming in, and we never got any vision of anything going out after it was over. And we know that BLM has taken a lot of land for really stupid reasons. We got stuff warming up in Texas and New Mexico and Arizona. Actually, every damn state in the West, if you really want to go down to it. And with an economy that's about to collapse and half the world we owe money, some significant, economic powers like China and Russia and all this stuff. And it kind of makes sense if they want to cut the United States in half to Mississippi, you know, per se.
Right.
And then just take over all that land as debt instrument, which we've discussed before here at the station and on the YouTube, because BLM is we've got records that we've chased and researched. I mean, that man is at a rabbit hole, but
Yeah, that's a deep one.
it's a Puerto Rican based corporation that basically handles debt instrument land for U.S. bonds.
Right.
Just to put it simply.
Yeah, it's like a DBA, doing business as.
Right. We have found, I think we found like 40 shell corps and a bunch of shell corps off of those. And just, it's just mind numbing when you start digging in it. You get in that rabbit hole, and my wife goes, "You're going to drive yourself crazy if you do that. You need to stop."
Yeah, yeah. And the whole thing, like I said, I mean, it was just weird. I mean, from my standpoint, I have my backings with cybersecurity and stuff of that nature.
Right.
It was just odd to be there. I mean, I didn't, I wasn't there hacking into anybody's stuff, doing anything related with a computer. I was actually hardly on a computer,
Right.
and it was just everything was just out of the norm. It was odd, and there were people there that just didn't seem, even some of the FBI agents that I had not bumped into, talked to or anything, but had seen that were obvious FBI or at least somebody trying to pose as FBI. It was just odd, and I've never seen so much disinfo going out ever in my life. I am on both sides, whether it be directly or indirectly. Somewhere
Oh,
along the
yeah.
lines, things got twisted up, and it was just amazing.
Right. And just to
I think
reiterate,
I think everybody did just a massive psyop on everybody, and everybody freaked out. I mean, that's how it seemed at times. It was that much of a mess.
right. And just to reiterate, you're not an actual agent, you're a contractor, right?
Correct. Yeah, and more military, not FBI or anything like that.
Right. Okay. All right. And so let's just move on to what happened next. What was the next run-in situation you had? I mean, apparently you were trying to facilitate a message between the governor's office or the governor herself, or what? How, explain that all that to us, please.
Well, the way that came about was after I had left. Like I said, I had a bad taste in my mouth with how things were handled with me with the FBI and Joint Terrorism Task Force, and I had seen Peter DeFazio's video when he was in front of Congress, saying, "Hello, is anybody home at the FBI?" And my complaint was about the FBI. So I contacted him. I said, "All right, this guy just went off on a rant about the FBI. He's the one I need to speak to." I contacted his office, and the woman that answered the phone said, the best way to contact him is via email. And I said, "Yeah, I understand that. I saw that on his website, but it said if you're not from his district, he won't reply or even read, your email." So I said I figured I'd call, and I explained the situation. And she said, "Well, let me give you a call back." And roughly about 20 minutes later, I received a call then from Congressman Schrader's office. And myself and his assistant, we spoke, I believe it was 43 minutes about the whole situation. Well, I basically explained everything that I had just told you, and how, it felt to me that I was being left out there, just to hang out to dry. I mean, it was just a weird situation, and everything was pretty much about that side of it. They were very much. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. No, I just said it. Kurt Schrader's office. His office was very, very sympathetic, very, very concerned about the safety of everybody there. Out of all of them, they seem to most want a peaceful resolution, and they took an interest in that, in the fact that I may be able to, be a go-between. I have no education in that. I've never been a negotiator, but having known, both sides, it was something that I could relate to. I mean, I'm the type. I'm kind of neutral in everything. I call BS when I see BS, and it doesn't matter what side really. It's just the way it is. It's not a popular way to go, but that's just who I am. And I think they understood that, and felt, well, maybe this could work. Um, maybe he could relate to him, because I'm a gold miner also. I'm sympathetic towards ranchers, loggers. We all have to stick together. We're all getting screwed one way or another by some agency, some form of government. And they got me in contact with the governor's office, and I was told by them that the governor was actually told by the federal government to not get involved out of fear that she would make things worse. And from my point, what I got from her and her office was she was more mad at the FBI than the actual occupiers. She, believes it should have been stopped right away. There would have been no violence. At least that's how it was told to me. Um, and things could have been resolved, or at least over. I don't know if they'd be resolved. I'm not sure that would have opened up lines of communication, but one can hope. Um, so I know she was very upset with the federal government, with the FBI, and she finally spoke out, which got portrayed by a lot, or most, that she wanted the FBI to do a raid. I can't say that I'm a fan of Governor Brown or really know much about her, but it's my impression was that's not what she was looking for. Um, I think she was more concerned about the spectacle it was putting on, and how it made Oregon as a whole look. Um, like I said, it was just a mess, and I think she recognized that. Um, Everything I was told, her office, they were willing to speak. They were willing to, work something out. I'd even gotten as far as them agreeing to something like get 3 people, on a board. Have a member, just a citizen of Harney County, somebody representing the federal side, and somebody representing the Paiutes. Get a panel like that. Let them kind of handle things. Then if anything went to a vote, you're always going to have you know, a vote one way or another. There's going to be no deadlocks with 3 people. And I don't know if that's something Ammon would have agreed to or not, but in my eyes, it was a step. The government was willing to try to do something, or so they said. It was just from my position. It was anything that can happen. Any bit of communication was a step in the right direction.
Rather unfortunate. I have his personal phone number. Well, I don't have it now. They have his. I wish I'd known. I have his personal phone number. I could have facilitated that. Oh, and by the way, people in the chat room go, "Shut up, let him talk." I'm like, I'm letting the guy breathe occasionally.
Yeah,
I mean, this
I
is
do that
this.
once in a while.
Yeah, this is a big story, and we just want to make sure we get all the fine details and fine points too, because people, if I don't, people are going to rip this to shreds, and you know it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And it's something I wish I wasn't involved in.
right. All right, let's.
Going there was a mistake, especially in hindsight. Knowing what happened, and there's always that. What if I tried this a little harder, approach this differently. And it's unfortunate that somebody had to lose their life. I've
Right.
never met Lavoy, but I heard he was a great guy.
Yeah, I was actually on the phone with him just moments before they got pulled over. In fact, he hung up. I've been talking to Ryan Payne, and he hung up and said, "We got," he said, "We got," and that was it. And the phone call was over, and I couldn't get back a hold of him. And little did I know until like hours later, something went down. But
No, man.
it,
And I
it
know a lot of people will tear me apart for this, but I mean, I do give some credit to the FBI. I mean, I was one of the people that thought it's going to be a Ruby Ridge or Waco, and the fact that they didn't mow everybody down was I was glad to see that. It was reassuring in a way, and it gives you that little bit of hope that, well, maybe they didn't want all this, but with that much attention, and that's something too that I think people haven't thought about with the governor getting involved and speaking up. It brought a lot more attention to the situation, and in my mind, anyways, the more attention that was brought to it, the less chance there was going to be a massacre, by the federal government.
well, yeah. Now
More eyes, they weren't going to act out.
exactly, and all the media's gone home. It's like what do you think about the 4 that are left up at the? Wait, we haven't even got through the whole story. Okay, so were you getting impeded in some way from facilitating a conversation between the governor and Eamon Bundy and the guys at the refuge? Were you getting stonewalled in some way?
I was kind of shut down by members of the Pacific Patriot Network, and I was told that that message never got through to Ammon.
We'll leave it. We'll leave
Yeah, I don't.
that. We'll leave that at that. We don't want to until we can get some confirmations on some of that stuff. We just
Yeah,
don't want to
absolutely.
be poking poking that dog. But
No, especially, I mean, everyone still has a job to do there, and still have
right,
4 people in there that need to come out safely.
right. So let's take us on up into the next point. Before you left, after Lavoy, after the supposed, as they say, traffic stop and Lavoy getting killed, and then the week afterwards, as the FBI narrative has been absolutely destroyed by the internet and YouTube and everybody's analysis of all this. I mean, have you had any more contact with these people you were working with after that?
No, I have not. With Joint Terrorism Task Force, very, very little. Um, they weren't on the best of terms. There was a little bit of back and forth, and haven't had contact in several days now.
Right. All right. So I guess we'll just move in. We were discussing this a little bit earlier. I mean, yesterday we got an alert that they were gearing back up at the hospital, and they brought those 7 doctors back in that were there the night. That everybody warned about. I honestly, I got to say, I thought it was all yet another cry wolf because
I did too.
we have heard so many cry wolf that people stop. The cry wolf story is very, very obvious. It's like when everybody's crying wolf, people stop paying attention.
Right. And
So
that was, I didn't understand with one of those was the no-fly zone,
right,
on another broadcast, and he said, "Hey, check it out. Go online, check it out at the FAA," and I did. And I said,
right,
I don't see anything, and I didn't understand it. It could have been an honest mistake, but
right.
you
And
know,
there is, and on purpose, there is so much disinfo that's always
yeah, and
in
you
the
got to
works.
expect that too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a game of chess, basically.
Hey, well, it's a game of chess, and then you got a lot of. I've even been guilty of it myself from time to time. There's a lot of competition out there for views. Um, I only put an ad at the front of my videos. I don't go in like the other people and put 70,000 ads through my videos.
Right,
It might make me 3 cents or something, but it's just kind of part of the deal because there's work involved here and there's costs involved here. It cost me, I think I spent well over $1,000 sending Sherry out there twice, and
wow, yeah,
it's expensive, and we get little support. Us out here doing this, and I don't go on about send us money every 15 seconds. It's like if you can see we're doing this. So anyway,
right.
back to the point. What do you think is going to happen to those guys that are out there at the refuge? Because I see that they unsealed the indictment today. What do you think's the next process? Those guys out at the refuge, they're all in the indictment now.
Yeah, oh boy, I don't really have a good feeling, honestly. And I don't have any information on that, any inside information or knowledge. But after hearing some of the words and the stand that they're still taking, it's going to be very hard, I think, to end things positively, and that's sad to say. That's this is one case where I'd really love to see somebody, whatever agency it can be, do some sort of massive psyop on them and scare the hell out of them to just get them to run out, and just apprehend them safely. You
Right.
know, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. They don't deserve it.
All right. We're going to gear up for some calls now. I put the number on the screen, and it's also at 702-605-4277. This takes about, a good 4 minutes before anybody's even going to hear this phone number for this to buffer out on YouTube. But in summary, where are you headed now? I know you're on the road.
Yeah, right now I'm actually headed out of state, probably to California. Just something we just had to step away from everything here.
Right. Is that where you're from, California?
What's that?
Are you from California?
No, I'm originally from New York.
Oh, okay. Is that where you live now?
No, I'm still in Oregon. I do live in Oregon,
Oh, okay.
in Salem, Oregon. So
Right, right. All right, and your military. Were you ever actually in the military, or you just in military contracting?
yeah, no, I was never enlisted. I've had 7 back surgeries and wrist surgeries, so that wasn't too much of an option. I
Right,
was just good with computers and got hounded all the time. Once I got out of high school, and it's just stuck with me. And one day I finally took him up on it.
right. Yeah, I
You
actually
shoot
got
my
into some
I'll help
trouble.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I got into some trouble when I was a kid, and I ended up in the Air Force because of hacking so early they didn't even have a law against it, and they gave me a choice of going into the military or boys' school.
Yeah, that's I'm familiar with those options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, we have a call, area code 501, and I'm going to lay out some rules on these calls. If you call in, you need to turn your background noise radios down. If you get vulgar, I will hang up on you. If you get rude or disrespectful, I will hang up on you. This will be a civilized conversation and absolutely nothing else. Area code 501, you have a question.
Yes. First, I want to thank you for bringing us news out of Oregon. I've been tuning in now for the last few weeks and have enjoyed what you're doing.
Thank you.
There's a lot of people in the chat room that want to know who is Kevin Preusse, and because they're Googling his name and they're coming back with some not so good results. So I wanted to give him the opportunity to address that.
Oh, with pleasure. It comes down to, it's the internet. You're either going to believe it or you're not. I have no record of any kind. I've never had a lawsuit. I have pissed off an ex-girlfriend or two, and as a result, I got that. Which in the beginning, back then, it wasn't all that big of a deal. It wasn't a big thing. And then anytime you look at somebody wrong or tick somebody off, they could just post anything they want. I could write anything about anybody and do the same thing to them. I'll be honest, a few times I've actually wanted to uh, do the same thing to those very people and show them, how it feels, what it's like, and I can't bring myself to do it. It's
We're going to do a separate interview on all that stuff, folks, after we get done vetting all this material. So everybody is on the same page. So I want to keep this on the Oregon box right now because, like you say, everybody and anybody can write anything they want on the internet, and we are still in the process of vetting the background information. And Kevin has agreed and understands that's exactly what we're doing, and we're not going to go into any of that background information until we can vet it and find out where it's coming from. And believe me,
Well, absolutely, and I want to thank Kevin for coming on the air and sharing with us what he has shared thus far.
all right, thank you. Yeah, it's
No, thank you.
I don't want to get anybody. I don't want this show turning into blame games and accusations at this point until we know what the hell's actually going on from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just wanted to ask because I knew a lot of people were asking, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to address those
Right.
concerns that people had. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Oh, I understand that. I knew, I was actually hoping it would be one of the first things right out of the way. I know how it looks, how it reads, and, I'm glad you asked it, because I'd like to shed some light on it and let everyone see that, it's the internet. Can't believe everything you read.
And just to clarify, is your middle name Kevin? I mean, is your middle name Patrick? I'm sorry.
Patrick is the middle name.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, if you go Google my name because of the radio station, there is some stuff way more horrific than what you got. I mean, way more horrific. Okay, let's see who was next. Area code 480. You're on the air. You have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well, and I'm sure you heard the rules of engagement here on any call.
Oh,
so
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I did. I would like to know from Kevin. He said that I believe he said that the FBI used restraint. And was he referring to the shooting incident or other things?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that.
Okay, can I go ahead? All right. Kevin, you said that you felt that the FBI used a great deal of restraint. Were you referring to the shooting incident, or what exactly were you referring to? And then I have a comment. I'll come back.
Well, how I meant it was, like most, I honestly felt they were just going to go in guns blazing. I mean, I honestly saw a Waco situation, a Ruby Ridge situation, And the fact that that didn't happen, to me, showed restraint on their part, that they weren't looking just to gun down everybody. Again, it was a very confusing, an odd situation, and I think things could have been much worse. And I'm just glad that it wasn't much worse.
Have you heard the interview from the two girls that were in the vehicle?
Yes, I have.
And you're trying. I'm not trying to be confrontational. All right, but I just want to pin you down on this. When you make a blatant statement like that, you're saying that the FBI used restraint, and in the meantime, the fellow that picked the vehicle up, the wrecking agency, said that the truck looked like it was a piece of Swiss cheese. Now, if you call that restraint, then I have to say, and I'm being respectful here, I have to say that your credibility is in extreme doubt, in my opinion, because that to me is not restraint. Those people, if they would have jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, they would have had just as much chance of surviving in that vehicle as they would have if they jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. And when I hear somebody say that, I don't care who it was, whether it's the Oregon State Police or whoever it was, used restraint, I have to look at the person that says a statement like that after what went down very, very skeptically. So, in my opinion, you have no. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I understand that, and first, yeah, there were a lot of shots fired, from my understanding, but not all of them were lethal projectiles. There was some gas and smoke, from my understanding, some flashbangs. There were also, according to the videos that you referred to, the one young lady had, actually, I think both Shauna and Victoria had both said that after everybody was out of the car, then they kind of unleashed on the car. So there was nobody in the car when a great deal of those bullets were fired. Why they did that, I don't know, but they were told by everybody that no one else was remaining in the car. So to me, that counts for something. And at the end of it all, I don't care if there were a million bullets in the car. The fact is that everybody but one person came out alive, and that's the number that counts to me.
Okay, sir, but the only thing I want to tell you is this. I heard the elderly lady, middle-aged lady, I heard her interview today. Okay? Now, yeah. I'm not disputing what you're telling me. Well, I guess I am. I find it unbelievable that you would hear that interview and say what you just said, because there were bullets flying. How then can you explain Mr. Bundy having a bullet hole in his shoulder? How do you explain that? That he was in the vehicle when that happened. Was that a dummy bullet? I don't think so. So I just want to tell you, sir, you have no credibility as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a reasonable thinking person. And really, I don't have any more to say to you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, yes. I have a problem, and some other people are having the same problem as me involving black SUVs. I believe we're being told that we're being watched visually, but it is kind of disturbing that more than two people are having this issue, and I'm concerned, but as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. And if you are having a black SUV issue, you need to come out and tell it, everyone. I want to tell you that a black car, vehicle, whatever you call it,
sir, did you have
by my house.
Sir,
Go ahead.
Sir, did you have a question for Kevin?
Not at this time. I yield my time. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You have a good night. Okay. Area code 360. And I said this before. The rules of engagement here are respectful, non-vulgar, which everybody's been very good about. And, and I'm not here with an agenda. Nobody else is doing what I'm doing right now. And we're giving all the sides of the story. We're not creating news. We're chasing the news. All right. So Kevin, area code 360 is next. Area code 360, you're on the air. Who dat? Where you at?
Hello, this is Robert Carey. I'm speaking from Washington State, and it's about Deborah Jordan and Staff Sergeant Moe, who were last heard last night in Portland, Oregon. They were going to hang around today so they could go to Pete Santilli to see if he was going to be released or in bail. And I've heard nothing about him. Their last post was after the one you have posted on your show about the 7 FBI doctors showing up in Burns again. And right after that, they put out something else which died after 45 seconds. And nothing has been on their site all day. I'm worried for them. This isn't a question about for Kevin. It's about anybody who may have any information. I know the 4 guys still at the refuge, or 4 people at the refuge, were still put on indictment today. Is there any other info out there?
I do believe a video came out after. I do know the video you're talking about. I had the same feeling. Actually, I kept hitting restart on that thing several times, and yeah, it was always the 45 or 47-second mark. It would stop. I did see one after that was put out, and it started off kind of the same way as the first, but it did keep going. I know.
I'm sorry.
So
but
far,
the
they're
person you
still
called-
in there. Hello? Hello? Okay, like I was saying, I do believe there was a short video put out by Sergeant Moe afterwards.
Turn that down.
I don't. What's that?
Who am I speaking with? Yes. I just got out of court. Well, he was denied release because it wasn't what he has to say about local law enforcement and how he complies with local law enforcement, but what he had to say about federal law enforcement.
All right,
the judge differentiated between his free speech about local law enforcement and held him accountable for what he has said about federal law enforcement.
Right. Hold still, Deborah.
We're all disappointed.
Okay. This is Deborah Jordan, folks, just to let everybody know. Go ahead. Sorry.
We're all disappointed. We plan to protest. We plan to protest here in Portland. This is a sad day for everyone. I mean, if you could have been in the courtroom, there were literal gasps when the judge said he was not going to release him before his trial. I mean, there was nobody there except for media. It was all media that was there, and everybody was shocked. I mean, I'm still shocked. I cannot believe what has happened here, and even mainstream media is expressing their concerns this evening about their right to express themselves no matter what it is that they say. So we plan to, we have one last chance here at the federal court level before we have to take it to the District 9 or court in San Francisco. And we plan to protest. We're going to put a rally together, and we plan to protest this courthouse during the day. and let them know how we feel about this decision. It's completely unfair. There are people walking around that were up on that refuge with guns, threw out a lot far worse rhetoric than Pete did. As a matter of fact, they didn't get Pete on anything that he said at the while he was on the refuge. They didn't. None of that was brought up. They didn't keep him because he covered it and was in support of. The judge indeed said he had every right to support the message that they were doing. He said that from the very beginning. Pete Tilly had a right to support what they were doing. What he got him on and kept him in jail on is the fact that was the fact that of what he had said before, things he had said before during the show from 2-3 years back that had absolutely nothing to do with this case. And at this point, we're all disappointed. The attorneys are disappointed, and we're going to go forward. Now, the ACLU said this morning that they're on board. They're going to take on the case and work with Tom Cohen, his attorney, and it's spelled C-O-A-N, Tom Cohen. And also the RutherfordInstitute.org, Rutherford Institute, Josh Whitehead, Nisha Whitehead, they are also working. They're building a team, and they're going to defend, and they're going to mount an appeal to what this judge has done here today.
So they won't even allow him bail?
No.
And I know that there are all these detractors, retractors, whatever out there, whatever.
I don't care about them right now. I don't care about these stupid trolls.
Oh yeah,
and these stupid ass people that mean nothing. They mean nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting. That was exactly what I was getting ready to say. I don't care who's doing what or who agrees with whose way of doing what things, but if you're press, you're press. And
what they need to watch is the very last video that was put out by Pete and trying to, keep the peace and stop everything and get people out.
They did. They played that. They played that one. They played it. Was the very last one. They showed the judge. It was moving. Everybody was moved. That Pete was trying to convince them right before they arrested him to let him go up and get the women and children out. Everybody was impressed, including the judge. He didn't care about what Pete had said during this occupation. He didn't care that Pete supported their message. None of that mattered to the judge. What he cared about was what the FBI had to say. The FBI, the federal government, has an axe to grind with Pete Santilli. He's poked them in the eye. They don't like it. And now they are going to make him pay. We even said, the attorney even said, yes, his attorney even said, this smells to high heaven, Your Honor. It smells like there is vendetta here. And there is. And everybody in alternative media, from Alex Jones down to the smallest independent broadcaster, has something to worry about after this. You all have something to worry about. I don't care if you don't like Pete Santilli. I don't care what if he has said something to you personally that you don't like. If you can't stand up and say, oh my God, if you don't feel the pressure right now that's on mainstream media, you are an idiot.
All right, listen.
But I think the problem is.
All right,
look, I don't know if you
hold
can,
on,
if
Eric.
you can hear me. I'm in the 82nd. 82nd Airborne.
All right,
I'm a veteran.
Sir,
The problem is.
Okay, sir, hold on.
Okay,
let me get a quick small one out.
All right, listen. Sorry, Deborah. I'm really sorry. I know you have issues. We were just getting an update from you, and I'm not going to take calls for you. It turned into a debacle the other night.
Thank you. I just literally got out of the courtroom. This is all I have to say. I really have to go. Okay, I have to go. All right. No, I just can't do that right now.
Exactly.
I will be in touch with you. Thank you. Thanks for calling me, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thanks
Deb.
for calling me.
You have a good day.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone from Watchman News, for that update. I really appreciate it, and God bless you.
Hey, no problem. Listen, I told everybody she's not taking calls. Somebody wanted to know what was going on. Now you know what's going on. And interjecting into the conversation when you were not asked to interject to the conversation, I consider disrespectful. Now we will start all over again. Area code 360. I think you were summing it up, or we were getting ready to finish up with you.
I just want to thank you very much for that update. It was wonderful hearing your voice. I'm glad her and Staff Sergeant Moe are still okay. I was really worried about them all day.
All right. Thank you very much. And I'm really getting piled up with calls. I got to move on. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye. Okay. Area code 919. You are next. Area code 919. You're next. Going once.
Am I on?
There you are. You're on.
Hey, I just wanted to ask, I've been kind of I grew up in Ohio. I was kind of a fishing, sporting kind of guy. I was involved in a little Ohio Valley militia. So, I was kind of an armchair supporter at first. But on Tuesday, when I heard Sean calling for, shoot up the roadblocks and this and that, how do we justify that and still... how do I justify that and still move forward? I'm all for freedom of the Constitution, but my cousin's a police officer, People who do those jobs aren't federal clones. They're people who live in Oregon and who live around here,
Well, yeah, I know.
It was unfortunate,
ahead,
making that statement, but it's also a heat of the moment type thing, and people make mistakes. People screw up, and sometimes we say stupid things, and I think it's got to, that's got to be taken into consideration as well.
Yeah, I've said some bad things in the heat of the moment, definitely. But and then the other thing I had to ask, it was Tuesday. I've been following this for, like I said, I was an armchair supporter. Fight the man, Rage Against the Machine since I first heard about it. But over the past week, I've been following it more closely. And Red Radio sounds good. I've been listening closely. And then there was a lady on Tuesday night talking about fake Jews and we're the real Jews. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but that comes straight out of the same canon of the 90s movement that was, involved with Timothy McVeigh and stuff. We can't be repeating garbage out of that movement. As the show host talk, you should be like, okay, lady, we're gonna wrap that up,
Actually, that's what I did. People wanted to know the story. I knew she was just getting out of court, and we just kind of went from there. Okay. Listen, wait till I call your area code before you talk. I'm hearing background noise. All right, 919, thank you very much for your call, sir.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too. All right, let's see who's next. I have, let's see. Area code 832. You're next.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I heard you earlier. I love Deb. Watch a lot of Pete Santilli. I liked all the live stream we got in there. I've been watching this a lot. I'm a veteran, 82nd Airborne. And a lot of people talk about this land grab type deal, and this is what it's about. But it's about our freaking Constitution. And sitting there watching like Dave Fry being in there and some of the things he was standing for, that's what everybody gets. We don't look at this stuff and see that, like he was saying, the Hillary Clinton thing. She is so far in the wrong, but that's okay. These guys are standing for our constitutional rights, and we're going to prosecute them to the core. They're supposed to work for us. You know what I mean? So, I think a lot of people are getting upset about that. The government is totally flushing our rights down the commode and expecting us to do whatever they want us to do, but yet they don't follow none of the same rules we got to follow. So what do you do?
That's
I'm making a pause. I'm making a pause. Sorry. It's just, you get to a point.
What do you do?
I love my country. I'm a patriotic American, and I'm also a veteran. And I would do anything. And the only thing that worries me is my kids. and what my kids are going to go through. I hope if anything ever does happen, it's while I'm here with my kids, so I can make sure they know how to survive and they know what to do. And it's just crazy. I mean, when do you make the point to say, okay, it's time to stop? And I know I got to be short here, but is it always the next event? Or wait a minute, okay, well, this is going to get swept under the carpet. The next event? I mean, we're so far in debt, trillions of dollars in debt. Do we ever think we're really going to pay this off? Has the government ever really done anything they said they're going to do when they come into power? No, they haven't. Anytime you get a president, you'd asked me 10 years ago if I was a Republican, I'd have told you, yeah, but now it's like they're all crooks.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I have to agree. And I have said, I said it made jokingly said earlier today, if I put something in the title of the YouTube when I'm getting ready to go live stream that looks like there might be blood, guts, and gore, we get thousands of listeners. I mean, thousands. But if it's just, here we're going to put something up there with the information that might be good for you, we get very few. It's like everybody is, it seems like most people that are younger than me were raised on Jerry Springer, and they're all looking for a Jerry Springer event. And well, you know what? You might get a Jerry Springer event, but right now, it's the calm before the storm. All the people involved in that, yeah, all the people involved in this right now are headed for the funeral of Mr. Lavoy Finicum, friend of mine. I consider him a friend after all the time I spent on the phone with him, on air and off air. Right now, it's a time of grieving, and then we'll move on from there. So, that's just kind of how that goes. But I thank you for your call, sir. Did you want to make a final statement before I move to the next? I'm getting piled again. So.
Yeah, I understand, man. And I love the job you're doing, man. I just turned on to your YouTube channel, and thanks for your streaming and the stuff you're doing for the community. And keep it up. And like I said, there's a lot of supporters out here. We are patriotic Americans, and we hate to see our country being flushed down the commode. And, we just got to figure out what we need to do next. And I'm not calling for any kind of craziness, but, there's got to be a point to where we draw a line, just like, Obama would say. This is a line, don't cross that line.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder.
God bless.
I'm beginning to wonder, by watching this last summer, that the only way we can possibly protest is wander into inner cities and set everybody's businesses on fire. But that's just my opinion.
Right. Like I said, hey, you guys keep up the good work, man. God bless, and thanks for all you do.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
I think the first step that everyone needs to do is everyone needs to come together,
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
All right. Hey, Kevin, hold on. I have several callers that have not turned off their background in YouTube in the background. You need to, I will call your area code, and if you make noise or background noise, I'll have to hang up because it causes confusion. All right, let's see that. So the next person in line is area code 360.
I'm not sure if that's me or somebody else.
That would be you, ma'am. That's you, ma'am.
Okay, I just have one comment. My comment is, I understand that Pete has a fan base, but you know what? All those people matter, okay? Let's all come together, try to figure out how to end this peacefully, and get them all out, not just one.
Yeah, I agree, man. We all get out. Yeah, everybody's like, you hear these Black Lives Matter, Ranchers Lives Matter. Everybody's life matters. I mean,
that is true. But you guys are all airing everything on Pete, though, and that's what I don't understand.
Airing everything on who's Keith?
If I go on the live chat, it's all about Pete. Pete's life. Pete needs to get out.
I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about.
Let's be fair about it. If you're going to call the government hypocrites, then let's call everybody hypocrites. Because that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, the reason that I think that came because I just had Deborah Jordan on there.
No, sir. I'm not talking just about your show, hon. I'm talking about anything on the internet. You go to anybody's website. You go to any chat room. It's about Peter. Okay? I understand he has a fan base, but you know what? I like the bunnies. I support the Bundys. I would like to know more about the Bundys, not so much more about
Because
Pete.
they're all bitching about something they don't understand. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, actually, you need to tune in. Okay, area code 208. I'm hanging up on you because you cannot seem to maintain your background noise. You're welcome to call back in and get back in line.
Hello.
All right. So anyway, yeah, actually, you're going to hear all about the Bundys tomorrow because we will be live streaming not from the church but from the funeral procession, and then tomorrow we will have interviews with all the Bundys, family members, everything. So stay tuned tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, well, I thank you for covering that too.
Hey, no problem.
You guys have a good
I
night.
really have to move on to the next call, ma'am. Thank you for your comments, and anytime. Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right. Goodbye. All right. Who's next? Area code 910. You're on there. Who dat? Where you at?
Hey,
Hey.
this is Break Aunt Ann.
Okay.
Okay? I just want to say no thieves allowed rocks. Kevin rocks. And Pete and Tilly is a dindu.
Okay. Well, we all got our
All right.
opinion. I say we all got our opinion. I don't like Pete either, but I don't like his reporting style. But you still shouldn't throw press in jail.
Well, he's got a history.
Yeah, well, we all know that, but we understand that. But this isn't the Pete Santilli discussion show. I just brought Deborah so I could get an update. Okay.
Okay. Well, you have a great night.
You too, ma'am. You have a great night yourself. All right. So let's see. Who's next? Area code 213. You're next.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, excellent. My name is Jeremy. I'm a listener and an occasional caller to Pete. And really glad to hear Deb get on because, quite frankly, Deborah Jordan has been one of the most solid voices over the last 6 weeks coming out of Oregon. Generally, when she has something to say, it's relevant, concrete, she vets it, she's not a blowhard. I think that the points that she made in that update were important. To the lady that just called that was concerned that we're not hearing enough about the Bundys and too much Pete, it doesn't matter that it's Pete Santilli. It matters that a member of the independent media was picked up and was lumped in to the same charges that the people that were occupying that refuge.
Yeah, and listen, this is why this is a concern to me too, because I'm independent media and I'm paying money to send people to all these places, and I don't want my people getting thrown into jail because they broke protocol.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, and that is exactly what's taking place here. Why is he being charged the same way that the people that seized the refuge are? I mean, if they want to say, like, if he was obstructing that night because he approached the roadblock, hey, he's being held. He's not even getting a chance to get bail. So, yes, I'm a Pete Santilli fan, and I understand that he's controversial and the whole thing. Like I said before, it is the story of Oregon is not about Pete Santilli. This arrest is not necessarily about Pete Santilli. It's a member of the media in the United States of America that, regardless of whether you like his style or not, he was a reporter on the ground. He tried to, and there were times where he couldn't exercise restraint, and he let his commentary interject in, normal Pete fashion.
Well, also remember that the story here is really about two men that don't deserve to be in prison for terrorism charges, the Hammonds, because that story has actually been lost in this.
Well, absolutely. The Hammond story, I mean, of course, that's what birthed so much of this and what really was the spark that lit the fire and got everybody out there and everybody has heard their story. And Pete really in his final broadcast with the last two broadcasts, I mean, one of the things that he was saying was, hey, Harney, hey, Byrne, this is about you now. This isn't about us. This isn't about me. This isn't about the Bundys. This is about you guys. And so, that's what this is all about. But at the end of the day, remember that the Ammon Bundy's alleged bodyguard, who was armed, was picked up and released. And a member of the media who was just trying to, at one point, just get women and kids out of that refuge. That's all he was trying to do,
honestly,
like
I said, this is not the Pete Santilli show, and I agree with everything you're saying. whether he was a heroic or not at the end. The point is, point blank, member of the independent media, whether they were activists or not, was put in jail. You know.
Yeah. And can I let me
you
just
know,
say one more
my
thing to you so you can get to? I know you want to get to other callers.
yeah,
and I just
well,
wanna,
you know, the point
let
I'm trying to make is my wife would never allow me out there. I'd be his freaking bunkmate, and as from what I hear, the dude never shuts up.
Well, let me just say this. Thank you very much, because even though this is exactly what he would be doing, if you and him don't see eye to eye, if this was you in the position that he's in, he would be covering it and he would have your back. He doesn't like Alex Jones, but if Alex Jones was in jail, he would be defending it.
Well, you know, it's really funny. The Pete Santilli Show's mods have banned every one of my channels from saying anything in their chat, even when I'm doing this, when I'm just trying to give information.
Yeah, which is I totally disagree with, and there are times that I'm at odds with the mods there. I think that they get a little too happy with the authority and the ban hammer. Like, let free speech, let people talk, and let us just air out our opinions, and whether we're animated or whatever, not everybody's going to see eye to eye, and not all of us are. We're not all sycophants.
Yeah, we're human beings, and we're not all. And I understand that. You know, I spent many years of my life as under a different under a pseudonym in the music business, and I understand sycophants.
Yes, no doubt.
Right.
And everybody has them. And I've been at odds with Pete sometimes, but we do it respectfully. And like I said before, thank you very much for getting Deb on, allowing her on, and just hosting open conversation. It's very cool. It's very refreshing.
No problem. Apparently Deb can't even get on her own channel at this point because they got her best up. But I got to move on to the next call, sir.
Take it easy.
All right. You have a great day. Okay. Area code 208. You're next on air.
How are you today?
Not too bad. And don't remember, we got Kevin on the air if you have any questions for him and, general comments, etc. So.
Perfect. And you're doing a great job on covering the story. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
But there's one thing everybody is forgetting about this. Everybody forgets, like that guy said about the roots of it, is the monument movement. And as a logger, people forget about what's really going on with what the government is. Just like, for instance, recently I did some logging, and the city didn't like what I did, so they came to my personal house and shut down my water because I had logged an area they didn't want. I got permission to log, but then they didn't log. So only thing I'm going to say is to people right now, if they're listening, this is Russia. This ain't America where you have the we don't have those rights no more. This is Russia. We are communists. No, actually, we're not communists. We're a socialist country, as what it is.
No, this isn't Russia.
So,
this is Rome.
What's that?
This isn't Russia. This is the end of the Roman era.
Yes, exactly. I agree. And if you look at Russia, they're socialist. China's socialist. We're socialists. That's all it is. I mean, nothing we can do. The FBI even said it right off the bat. Hey, if you stand up for your logging or mining or farming or ranching rights, this is what we're going to do to you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I believe in Russia you could actually even collect rainwater still without getting thrown in jail or fined. I don't think you could do that here anymore.
No,
somebody actually in Portland did get fined for that, for collecting rainwater.
Yep, but I tell you what, it's a sad day that somebody can come in and shut off your water for giving you permission to log.
Yeah, it's insane. There definitely needs to be some sort of change and quick.
I think the only chance we're going to have is if Donald Trump gets in, because he's the only one rich enough to compete with him.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
why nobody wants to see him in, because he can compete.
And everybody was getting on Kevin because he was, saying the FBI showed restraint. I don't think the FBI showed any restraint this is my call on this. I don't think there was any restraint showed whatsoever at at the final moments of at all of the moments of the pullover, but maybe there was showing some restraints before that. But what I see is they were just planning. They were planning the
Go ahead,
perfect
sorry.
setup, and planning the perfect kill box. And from everything I've seen so far, and the FBI narrative is absolutely deconstructing itself, 100%. And if they don't release that dash cam footage first, and which I'm assuming they're going to manipulate or say too graphic to put out or something like that, if they don't do that soon, they're going to be in a crap load of hot water, and we're going to see a lot, years, just like it happened after Waco. How long did that go on? 8 months of Waco trials in which nobody actually ever got in any kind of real trouble.
Right, and mine, what I mean by restraint is, again, I'm just glad that everybody except for one made it out alive. To me, that's the number that matters.
Well,
Things,
yeah,
it should never come to that period. But,
no, it should not have, and it's, in my opinion, and I'm sure you have to agree, Kevin, that was kill box.
yeah, it was, and
There's
like I said, just to clarify, when I say restraint, I mean that it didn't happen to both vehicles and everybody. Because I kind of expected it to, as did many.
Yeah, I think the only reason anybody survived, and I have proof, and you can go back to my videos where I show that a innocent bystander drove up on the scene at the pull off, at the initial stop. Excuse me, at the initial stop, they pulled up on there, and they had cameras going. So I think that's the only reason I survived. All right, area code 208. You've got 30 seconds to sum up, and I have to move on to the next call, please.
Alrighty, and then to the guy that's on the other line. Now, what was your job exactly to do there again?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What's your job to do there again? Like, what would you, so that they hire a private contractor to come in?
Yeah, hey, 208, and anybody else listening, I had this set on 4-hour DVR. You can pull all the way back to the beginning and start over. I mean, we're getting on a time crunch, and I got another show that's going to be a little shocking, maybe. That I'm going to have to stop this at 9:55. It is 9:43, and I have 2 more callers I can get to. So,
please. All right. Well, I appreciate both you guys, and thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the line, area code 740. You are next.
Okay, that would be me. Kevin, when you said that it just felt different this time, that you had an odd feeling. I've heard that, maybe this was more than just the FBI and maybe foreign intervention here, foreign troops. Did you happen to see anything like that while you were there?
Not that was real blatant, and it was something too, I kind of shrugged off and laughed at when I first heard it, but the more you were around it, the more plausible it became. Yeah,
the more
it would
I'm
not shock
digging
me.
into this. Yeah, okay.
What's that?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I didn't hear excuse me, go ahead.
I was just saying it would not shock me. I didn't experience any of it. But then again, they're trained to speak English. And it would not shock me at all. Can I say for sure? No, absolutely not. I can't.
Would anybody have like any pictures of uniforms or anything like that? Or, where is the public's approach to this if it is, in fact, any type of foreign intervention? And where's our military's approach to that?
Well, that's a tricky one. I mean, I can actually speak as far as where I live in Salem. There has been an ambulance company by the name of Falck Ambulance. I encourage everybody to look it up. It's FALCK. Now, they're an international ambulance company, the largest in the world. They're trained by special ops. They provide security, medical. They'll even change your tire if you break down. They work in the mines, the oil fields, and this is all on their website. They have, weird sayings like will heal your mind and your soul. Um, they just showed up in Salem and just in a little area. They have no building. They just sit in parking lots, and they're based out of Denmark. So to me,
I
the
yeah. See,
International
I
Ambulance
have
Company is UN.
yeah. Okay, I have tremendous faith in our military, and actually in our government to some degree. And I really think that all the good guys out there listening now that might be afraid, don't be afraid. We all have to come to this together, black, white, Army, Navy, Marines, all of us. Media, everybody, get on the same page and expose everything you know. God bless.
Right.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.
You too.
FALCK, rather International Ambulance.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, listen, I want to ask you before I ask the question, there's people in the chat wanting to know about the Sugarloaf mine deal with Kevin Preusse. Should I ask that on air or no? Okay, cool. I don't want to waste your time, man.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Robin. I was wondering if you knew about the refugees that were out by the, by the Bundy over there. David Fry. Okay, well, he's in jail. Yes, I can give you, I can't get on the internet, so I can't post it, but if you go to Google and put in federal grand jury indict 16 people in no, he is in jail. He is in jail. That's what I'm telling you right now. You go to Google and put in federal grand jury indict INDICTS. Okay, this is different though. This is 16 people in Mahler or whatever refuge takeover. If you put that in there, then the first thing you'll see some pictures of 8 people. Okay, click on that. Huh. Okay, because I did email a couple of people, but if you click on that and go all the way down, it'll mention his name right there, and the other ones that are arrested also. Okay, now who do I email? Yeah, let me get a piece of pad. Okay, what is it? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, RESONSLIPS. Okay, .com, and I'll send it to you from Winterhawk. Oh, well, that's who I am. the. Okay. Thank you. You too.
Hey, this is DJ Moore from Mountain, Colorado. I just got one question for Kevin, and I'll ask it and hang up. I just want to know if he thinks that stop was set up the way that Merck's would do it.
I'm sorry, the phone was breaking up. What was that?
I'm just wondering.
It looked like a setup.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Well, I would like to say any involvement that I had out there it wasn't part of any contract job or anything official. It was kind of confusing to me on why I was out there to begin with. But the whole thing is just sad. It should come to this. It's something that should be an eye opener for everybody to show everyone that we need to come together, and that's the bottom line. Is we got to come together. We got to make change the right way. And I, for one, I mean, I don't want to see blood spilled on American soil. I don't want to see other Americans die just because they don't, agree with everyone else's beliefs, or that's what America's about. We're supposed to have our own opinions, and it shouldn't come to this. So I'm hoping both sides show restraint. I'm hoping the FBI allows the 4 remaining folks in the refuge to come out safely, and the same goes to the other side. Don't do anything stupid. Live to fight another day. Look at the bigger picture, and
Yeah, I have to agree
it's,
with the live to fight another day, but it sounds like the refuge is clear, I guess.
I heard the refuge is something.
I said, yeah, I agree. Live to fight another day.
Oh. Yeah, and it should be a big eye opener, and it's just sad that it comes to this all the way around. And same goes for Pete Santilli, the Bundys, Ryan Payne, everybody that's been indicted. Just that also has the bad feeling of they want to make an example out of these folks, and it's not good to be in that position. That's for
No.
sure.
And they're making an example to scare the hell out of everybody else, quite honestly. All right, sir.
Exactly.
I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I want to thank you for obeying the rules of engagement, because we have some other things to talk about at a later time, and just not going into that because we were wanting to do a show for a very specific reason to give the other side. Here at Revolution Radio, we give all sides. I had some people get irritated with me over this because I wasn't following the what do they call that? The party line of just going by my opinion. I have my own opinion, and everybody's heard it. I have my own opinion, but my own opinion is not the part of the news. My own opinion is just part of me. So Kevin, I want to thank you for coming on with us, and we'll talk again, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Good night. You have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, so there you go. You have that. That's what it was. I'm going to clear this up. I got to get a lot of stuff cleaned up for the next show with Patty Aiken. And, I hope people can understand Journalism is dead. I don't care whether it's mainstream media or alternative media. It just seems to me most of the time it's all just a bunch of damned um, disinfo, reinfo, overinfo. You just see one reporter reporting what the next reporter reported with his own take, and on down the line until you got the telephone game until your brain explodes. And no, I'm not taking any more callers tonight. Thank you very much. I gave everybody an hour and a half chance to call in. So, we're done for now. So stop calling. I thank you for the fact that you're calling, but we're kind of done. And I understand there's a buffer there, but the buffer is over. So thank you all for tuning in. It's Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I got another show coming up that I have very short time. I need to let this buffer out so I can get the next show started. Thank you very much. Good night.